What is up, everybody? I'm going to do the trade review here. And let's talk about this because this is clearly not good. Funny thing is, after this 250, I was up 937.50 for the month. And then I crapped it all away. Within these next few trades, you can see that I scaled up to 4. And I was trading mostly 3s and then 4s. So this particular week, I was to transition from 2 to 3 or somewhere in between there because there's no way I can do this challenge without scaling up. And yeah, so let's talk about this for a minute because things definitely went wrong, and it's definitely my fault. I don't know. We gotta review this, but like this one is minus 100, but for some reason it was in my favor 6. And I didn't take anything off the table. So for this particular day, I knew that. You know what? Let me do something here. So for this particular day, I knew that I had to scale out of trades. I'm going to have to start scaling out of trades. And I did. I did that at the beginning of the day. And I'm still trying to get used to this muscle memory of trading the amount of contracts. So if I hit 4, I need to hit the 2 button to change from 4 to 2 so I can scale out. And you'll see me scale out of the first few trades. And today's Monday, so I'm reviewing this on Monday. And I'm getting better at the scaling out thing. What I didn't do here on Friday was scale out when trades immediately started losing. That's what I should have done here on Friday, which I kind of transitioned that lesson into Monday here. But trying to get that muscle memory down and getting used to that and trying to do that second nature, it's a little tough. I'm not used to it. I'm used to trading, one lots. So, but of course, some of these trades were just terrible. And, I didn't scale out appropriately. So let me pull up something here. Pardon me, not feeling too good. So let's go here. So this is just a, allergies are killing me. So this is just something I wrote in one of my trade reviews, strengths and weaknesses. So, I definitely would say scaling helps me put more money on the table and keep more money. And I think that skill, developing that skill is definitely going to help. I can see how trading multiple contracts is in the benefit of making more money. I also don't feel well today. I still have these terrible allergies. Let's see here. This right here, I think, was a problem. Trading the P&L at the end of the day was definitely an issue. So let's go ahead and review. So the first trade is at 8:41. It's 37 seconds. It's a long. It goes against me 1, goes in my favor 5. So this one actually looks kind of nice. Again, this is the 10th. Let's see what happened. So as you can see, we have some resistance. Quite a few block orders came in. This 101, this 100, this sell. I think this is actually a hard reversal at this point, looking at it. So we come down a little bit more. And you can see we got this little bell curve here. But it's very tough. Clearly, there's been size here. And, you know, you can see on the tape that like more aggressive buyers are stepping up in this area. This area is defended. It's the overnight low. It just seems like buyers aren't going to give this up that easy, even if we break through by a few ticks. You can see we got this 134, 181, 124. Yes, you have that 180, but overall we're starting to see a lot more aggressive buying in here. And then I have this 539 come in. So all this kind of starts to get closed off to push up. I was a little late to the party. I should have jumped in right there. 32.76. Let's see if that's even a possibility. All right. Yeah, there's definitely. Let's watch that again. So you can see on the tape here, they're trying to blast it with some large selling orders. But when the buyers start hitting it, it definitely ticks up. Whereas when the sellers are throwing it out there, it's sort of not sinking in. So you can see my mouse right there. That's where the entry should have been. I wasn't sure on the direction, but after this price action, it was pretty much confirmed. I mean, that's a pretty decent entry. I can lean on this 76.50 as my edge. So I think I scale out of this one. So you can see I'm taking 2 off right now. So that's a piece of hesitation. So once the market hesitates, I want to be done with at least some of it. I want to take something out. And then you can see I'm throwing a 1 in there, and that's kind of the bonus with sprinkles on top. So I take it out with a 1 tick win on that 1 lot. So that's an example of how I scaled out to capture profits off the move, the initial move. So, you know, we go up, we start to fizzle out, and that's one of my strengths. And, you know, I forget that's one of my strengths, and I need to focus on that and trade like that. That's what I'm good at. So capturing the initial momentum scalp play. And then I really do want to hold slightly larger moves, and that's what the scaling out is all about. And, you know, if it worked out, it would have worked out, and I would have got a little bonus on top of it. So it makes sense to just take some off the table, which, I mean, in the end, look at that. That's 87.50 off 3. You know, that's going to add up over time. Even though it wasn't that many ticks. So the next trade, probably, I actually think I want to put that in the playbook. So what is that? 840 on the 10th. So we'll do playbook. No, I need to put in the date. 1/10/2020. Um, copy that so I can paste it. Let's see here. At 840. Because that's sort of a reversal all around. It's just like a straight up reversal. I don't know. This move isn't like a playbook move, but if I can identify this, because just the way the tape was flowing in. Anyways, we'll do the next trade, which is this 845 minus 75 short 11 seconds. It goes against me 4. It goes in my favor 1. So this is that move here. This is where I got out, and you can see it did pull back in, and it's kind of sideways. So, taking that off the table was good. So let's see what went wrong here. You got that 282 really try to go for it, but there it goes, and then it kind of cascaded down a bit. Looks like we still have that 539 there. Let's see, buyers are fighting back here. We're kind of sitting solid on this size here at 76.25. So we get through it. Looks like I'm trying to go for the low. Yeah. A little bit of a chase there. Problem with that is quite a bit of struggling here. A lot of back and forth. So let's see what is causing that. So in theory, I should have got in right when we crossed the size here. So let's see what we got going on. Buyers are fighting it. Yeah, I just bail it. It just rips back so quickly. This is such a heavily defended area, so for me, breakouts are a bit tricky in the sense that this does happen, and I tend to always go for the breakouts instead of trying to fade it. And it's pretty clear that this is heavily defended. I mean, we sellers couldn't get through over here. What makes you think the buyers are already going to be giving up? I mean, it's almost like they let the sellers come through to take a little liquidity from them. So let's see where it goes. I mean, I can see why I did that trade. And then boom, there it goes up. So let's go ahead and get into the next one. Pardon me, I gotta blow my nose here. just have not been feeling so well here. So, anyways, this next trade's a long 1 minute and 45-second duration. This looks like a real good one. It goes against me 1, goes in my favor 9. Let's playbook that. Not sure what it is, but it's obviously one of my better trades, so it needs to be playbooked. So this is shortly after I got out of the last one down. Right here on this push up. This is a high volume edge on a 3-year profile. So it's definitely has a lot of volume on it. So let's see, what am I looking for on this one? So it looks like I'm looking at this yesterday high level. So I kind of just go for it as it's going up. It's kind of a chase the trade thing. Like, I don't really see why the advantage of that trade. I mean, the problem with reviewing this is, like, you know, I'm skipping around to the trade entries and I'm missing the context of what's going on and how, oh, well, you know, this helps. This 1 minute stochastic. And the fact of the matter is it's just not getting through here, and it just looks good for a push up. You got this size coming in here, which this area was defended, so and this one I trade 3. And it's kind of good to take it on that high node right there just because, you know, this other node's slightly just as big, so you know it's going to easily trade into that higher node. Well, it is kind of getting defended as this is a high volume edge somewhat. There you go. It got through here relatively easy. I mean, it was only natural for it to get somewhat hung up. You know, if the node was prominent like this, it didn't have the other high node next to it, it would probably chop around like it did here. But it managed to get through this area relatively easy. Here's the problem is if you can see here that the market is turned at this point. So it looks like I'm holding here, not trying to scale out. Nice little block order come in. Looks like it'll be a problem here. Yeah. So it looks like I'm going for 2. So you got this high volume edge, and then you go into this low noted area, which is defended by 301. So you can see that size was there, and it looked like it was more prominent at some point. So it's going to struggle here. You can see I'm taking 2 off, so I'm doing what I did in the first trade. I'm throwing the 1 up there. That's sort of my bonus. So, you know, at least I took something. There we go, getting through there. You got that 240 right there. So now you got this 300 sort of defending this area. This kind of is pulled off a little bit. So I decided to take it off here and get just a little bit more out of it. I'm not sure where it goes from this point forward. You're going into another distribution zone, and it is going to struggle here. Probably goes in, doesn't it? No, it definitely chops and grinds its way through, and then look at that, 733 coming in. So overall, that was a good call on that move. Yeah, I wouldn't really say either of these are playbook plays, so they're going to kind of go in their own new thing. I have to figure out what that is, but I mean, that was the best trade. So the next trade is 905. Looks like I lose one tick. It goes against me one, goes in my favor two. So I'm pretty quick on this one. It's 3 second long. So let's see what happens. Oh, didn't mean to blow in your ears. I'm sorry. I thought I muted the mic. I gotta sneeze. Give me a second. Yeah, I'm dying here, and that hasn't been helping these trading days because I just haven't been 100% as well. So I feel like I've been in a daze over the last several days. So it looks like we're back up here. So yeah, we got through. This is where I got out in the last trade, and we got through the level. I mean, it wasn't a smooth transition by any means. So it looks like I'm trying to take something here. I don't know about seeing a play right now, but again, oh, there you go. That's why I took it. That 913 coming in, right? No? Oh, well, there's this 600 right here. Basically, it looks like one trader's putting in big size and just maybe buying up everything in here. Since this is the VPOG. Yeah, look how this goes up. Somebody threw in 329. So let's see that again. Yeah, they threw in 329, and then they immediately came in with all this size to sort of defend what they aggressively attacked. Which immediately this other large size comes back in. Then you got this 109, this 571. That's huge. 171. But it ain't really going nowhere. This is just a place where a lot of transactions can happen. Yeah, where that 1,000 is, I go for it. This is the end of the move, though. That was, yeah, I get out of there. That was a, what is it? Pull and push is what it's called, is what I call it. That large size kept pushing the market up, but it didn't move it that far, so that is kind of a play that I want to get better at. So I was a little late to the party. I got in right at the end of it. I don't think that size comes back in. Oh, there it is. Actually, I think... Yeah, this next trade here where I make a terrible mistake and lose 300, I immediately get back in, and it's probably because of that size you're seeing, and it goes against me 9, goes in my favor 1. Let's see what goes wrong here. And it's a 4-minute long trade. It's 4 minutes and 43 seconds, which is one of the longer trades. It's the longest trade. It's a long... Yeah, I was hesitant about it. They just blasted into that size. So I do get in here somewheres. Okay, I get in right around here. I think it's this is a high volume edge, so I attempt to get in here. Yeah, I decided to take this trade at this high volume edge. The problem with that is you can't take it right on the step down because that larger node's going to keep pulling the price in. So ideally, it's better to get in somewhere over here. But even that doesn't seem like the best move. Look at it just sinking in. So at this point, I'm definitely not on my game. I need to get the hell out of there. There's 458 sitting there. It's just not... Clearly, I don't have a risk zone picked out. You know, I'm hoping maybe this is a pullback. But as soon as the trade goes against me like this, I have no control anymore. I have no control as in I just hope that it'll come back up, and that's not good enough. I need to manage the trade as close to my entry as possible and lean on some nice piece of structure. Here it comes back in, and this is the chance to sort of get out of it. You know, and look at that. Look at that on that tape right there. It's just, that's not good. And this is a higher node. This looks like it's about to become the VPOC. And when that happens, it's going to chop and get stuck here. So really this, you know, there's 400 there and it just pulled off. So I'm going to show you that again. So just, I have no confidence in this, and I should have just took it for what it was and get out. 471. But it's going to just disappear. Yeah. And that tape's pretty red up here. This is where sellers are willing to defend it. And in general, it's just a higher noted area, so there's going to be a lot more transactions here. It's getting stuck on the low side of this high node. There it goes, flipping. Now it's the VPOC. You got that 400 there. It's just not a good, trade. I should be out of this, and I have plenty of time to make it not so bad. Which, you know, I have the time to get out of it, and it's not happening here. So let's see where it goes from this point forward, because I get out at 9:11. Yeah, so again, it keeps banging around in there, and yeah, there it goes. It just starts to tumble in. Now, I would have never got the break even on it, but I had ample amount of opportunity to reevaluate the situation and get the hell out. And at this point, we're crossing this VPOC. As you can see, it flipped back down. So this whole area in general is pretty popular, and it just doesn't look good at all. So I decided to get out of there at that point. So what could have been a small loss, I ended up turning it into a bigger loss. I should have never done that. That's sort of a newbie mistake, and that was the start of a series of terrible events. Of course, the next trade isn't so bad. It is a short at 1 minute and 19 seconds. Goes against me 1, goes in my favor 6. So it looks like a pretty solid trade. Let's see here. Wow, did you just see that? Give me a second. Okay, let's see how this... Somebody juices the market right here. Actually, at this point, this happens several times. Now that I recall it. So you see what this cluster here? That's one guy. That happened. These consecutive block sell orders happen at the same level several times. Now, I don't know if it was in this time frame right here or if it was previously or a little bit later in the day, but what you see right there happens several times right around here. So I go short. Let me see what the hell happened there. So I know that at this point we're going to be pushing out of this zone, this higher volume edged zone. Especially after seeing that on the tape, all those large block orders. And you got more blocks on the sell side. So I try to go for it there. 3, you can see. I get the fill. Do I get the fill there? No, I don't. I pull off, and now I'm taking it. I hate taking them right at the bottom there. I mean, this one works out, but I really don't think it's that good of a trade. I mean, it works out well, but that entry was real sloppy. That large size gets cleared out. This thing is just cascading down. The thing is, all this red on the tape is just sort of confirms that. I mean, yeah, it is good. Maybe it was a good idea. I mean, obviously, it's going to get stuck here at this higher node. So getting a little back and forth chop here. The thing is, I'm not scaling out now. I did well in the beginning, but now I'm not doing what I have to do. There you go. I take it all off, actually. All three come off right there. Okay, so let's see what happens. Yeah, that was a good idea because then it just rips up. Even if that's just a pullback, that's still pretty extreme. Yeah, it was good to get out of that one. So the next trade is 947. It goes against me 6, goes in my favor 2, and it's a long 1 minute and 49 seconds. This just doesn't seem like a good trade at all. Looks like I go long here, and this is the oh, this is way in the future. Okay, so we had traded up here at some point, and it looks like just the way this pattern is playing out, it looks like we're going to go up again, at least up to here. Don't tell me I chased that. So I'm patient. Now you can see I'm doing 4 for the first time. Hold on real quick. Definitely going to have to stop trading until I start feeling better, that's for sure. That doesn't look good the way it's stalling like that. Yep, that's just not a good sign. Theoretically, I should take 2 off right now. It's just no buyers are coming in. No buyers are coming in whatsoever. Nobody's coming in on either side, but there they go. that's not good. When you see a stall like that, it just, from me, it's like, it's usually not a good thing. It could go either direction, but I don't want to get hit. And I apologize for my commentary not being so good for this one. I really don't feel well at all. Yeah, it's not good. Take it off right there for a fat loss. That's when the problems start to begin. Hold on real quick. So the thing is, this is so prominent here that it makes sense to start playing the range, which, again, today's Monday, and trading today, the same sort of price action happened on this very large distribution zone, and it kind of makes sense to have faded it there. But, it was just a not good trade. I should have got out of it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the trade. I should have just got out of it. Oops. What did I do wrong? I did something wrong. There we go. So the next trade basically happens right here. So we'll let it play out because, well, let's go over the stats. It's a short, 2 minutes and 19 seconds. It goes against me. 3 goes in my favor. 6. I lose 100. Let's see why I lost 100. I shouldn't have lost 100. So as you can see, it's pulling in further. This is where we got out. This is where we made that entry. So I decided to go short here. Let's see why. That's this large size on this node, and it kind of makes sense to go short there. I mean, then again, it doesn't. Watching this, it works out. So I'm in this thing 4, right? And this isn't, I'm not taking the best trades at all. So right here, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So theoretically, I should be taking at least 2 of these off right here because it's 4. So I should take at least 2 off there, and then I would hold on to the other 2 for, a break even or for a push out of here. So now we're on the other side of that low node, which is great, or high node, which is great, but it just, now it's staying, it just continues to stay on the higher side of this big node, and that's not a good sign. I was really considering taking this off. I'm like, man, I need to take this off. I remember that, and I just didn't do it. Analysis, paralysis, greed, I don't know. Trading my P&L, all that was just complete raw emotions here. I have plenty of opportunity to take this decent trade to the bank, because really on 4 contracts, that's a decent freaking trade. So, and then, you know, I don't. And of course, this size comes back in. You see how it was there, and now the market. So I'm hoping that size gets whacked, which it does. You see the 300 on the tape. But it's being absorbed at this point, and that's not good. So that was, I got out right here for 2-tick loss, which is pretty big on 4 contracts. It's $100. So now the final trade is a really bad one. It goes against me. 7 goes in my favor 2. 4-minute and 7-second duration short. So we're back down here again. It looks like I'm going to go for it again. Yeah, so I go for it again. Looking at it now, it's just not a good trade. And the reason being is it's a higher node. It sticks out in its own right, and it's on a high volume edge. You can see how when it does tick to 79.25, it constantly pulls it back in. Really, in this zone, there's no way I think taking a trade in here is good between 78 to 75 and where it's trading now. Just because this dips in, yeah, you got a low node, but then you immediately go into this bigger node, which, what did it do? It did the same thing that's happening here, where it acts magnetic and it keeps pulling the price back up. If I'm going to take a trade, I would rather take it here, because there's less turbulence in front of it to give it a cleaner run down. Or just go long on this one. Because, I mean, clearly this node is so big that it's just propping the market up so we can trade in these higher volumed areas. And it's going to go back in. And that's exactly what happens. I just sort of didn't see that. And, I mean, right here, this is a great opportunity to break even or scale out at least 2 of them for a break even. Because if I'm taking 4 contracts, you got that 240 that came in. If I'm trying to take 4 contracts to the bank, I need the move to work out relatively immediately. Because if there's uncertainty about how this move might be and I may have to take heat, I don't want to take heat sitting on 4. Especially since my daily drawdown's supposed to be $350, which I surpassed by double that, and this 350 didn't help at all on this last trade here. So it does sink back down here. So, you know, you see it come down here, but this low node is going to be a little hard to get through as well. especially since we don't have momentum. We don't have a higher velocity move. Generally, the higher the velocity of the move, the more likely it's going to break through. For instance, this trade here. You can see how high velocity the move was. We had size here, and that broke through. We have no velocity here. So I'm trying to go for what happened here earlier, and there's no velocity there. So it's going to be harder to get through this area, and this is, I think, where it just completely goes wrong. It goes on for another 3 minutes, but I don't think we even come back down here at this point. Yeah. So at this point, I'm like, my risk is up here. That's too much risk. It's 32.81 even. And for me, it's a catch-22 trying to take these longer-term trades. Sometimes they work out real good. Other times this crap happens, and it just doesn't work out. I can see the small moves. I'm not a longer-term time frame trader. I just don't see it. So at this point, I'm hoping it bounces off the VPOC, which doesn't. So I'll be getting out here in about a minute. Kind of just see the exit on it, but really I'm just holding on. At this point, I'm at the mercy of the market, and I'm no longer in control, especially when it goes back this far. So that was a pretty defeating blow right there. That was a huge loss. You can see I took several huge losses here that shouldn't have been that big, and I had ample amounts of time to prevent this from happening, and then I had opportunities such as this to actually make some money. So I'll go ahead and put that in the playbook. What time? Because this one was a good one. I just should have took the money off the table, and I had that opportunity. $9.49, right? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So all in all, that was a huge blow. I was up $12.50. That's it for the entire year after this point. And with all the trades I took, the commissions would have been astronomical compared to that $12.50. So theoretically, at this point, I am down. And it was a huge blow, and I want to talk about how I felt about it. And, you know, I forgive myself for what had happened here. I learned what I had to do right, and I need to just scale it out. And today I exercised myself better in the sense that I did trade 4 today, and I managed to not let anything get too ugly. I mean, today wasn't the best of days because I really am not feeling so well. I ended the day up, but after this, it was a huge blow, and it took me several hours to get out of that slump. In fact, I think it took me the rest of the day to get out of that. And I knew I had gone wrong on this trade here. If I would have not gone wrong on this one, things wouldn't have been as bad. This one, I had plenty of opportunities to get out of it. Just the way the market's trading, I see this sort of same pattern happening today with these larger noted areas, this larger distribution zone. I just see the same thing happening, and it's hard for me to explain. Again, I'm just not 100% here, and what I'm going to do is see how I feel in the morning, and if I don't feel that great, I'm not trading until I feel better. And I know I have till February, and I'm taking this challenge, and I want to get as much under my belt as possible, but if you feel like shit, it's going to definitely cost a lot of money, and definitely haven't been feeling good for the last week now. So that's not entirely the issue. The issue is definitely, we can see, not taking the trades off the table when they should be taken off, and not playing into my strengths, which are taking these smaller scalps. That's what works for me. And too often I'm trying to hit home runs when I have the opportunity to hit something smaller and take money off the table. So it's a learning lesson, and all I can do is keep pushing, and that's it. I can't sit here and dwell and not be okay with this. I have to put it behind me, learn from it, and go forward. So I know this is probably the most horrific trade review, but hopefully you guys learned something from it.